Welcome to the Dryden Theater at George Eastman House. We're pretty excited that you're joining us tonight for the 40th anniversary screening of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Dr. Peter Ostrum is joining us this evening. I just told him I had an easier time keeping people away from Meryl Streep than from him, and I'm not kidding. So, nicest guy in the world. He was 13 years old when the film was made, and even though it's the only film he was ever in by choice, he is still on the VH1 list of greatest kid stars of all time. So without further ado, because we have so much time and so little to do, scratch that, reverse it. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Ostrum.
Who would have known that 40 years ago we'd still be watching this film? And I think a lot of it has to do with Mel Stewart, our director. Mel really knew, he really understood what he was trying to accomplish making the film. And he said, you know, I didn't set out trying to make a kid's film. There were kids in the film, but it's not a children's movie. It's definitely Roald Dahl. And I think that that's why it stayed so popular. Kids can watch it, and they get a lot out of it, but adults can watch it too, and we get something out of it too, that the kids, as they get older, they will get something out of it from an adult point of view. But it's a film that the whole family can watch. So I think that that's why it stayed as popular and as successful as it has been. When the film first came out, it was not popular at all. It came out to lukewarm reviews at best, and it went away. We just didn't hear much about Willy Wonka. In fact, the film was kind of an afterthought, really, because the film was designed to sell candy for Quaker Oats. And they didn't do a very good job marketing their candy. And so we never heard much about Willy Wonka candy, although you can still buy it now. I think it's gone through several different companies. I think Nestle's actually owns it now. But the film, over the years, has really gained in popularity. And people will always ask, well, what do you think of Johnny Depp's version? And I like Johnny Depp, but what it did, I think it kind of reinvigorated our film, got the discussion going again of which film do you like. So it kind of made our film more popular when Johnny Depp's film came out. Enjoy the film, and it's a real treat to be here. Thank you.
How did it feel watching it with 25 Ostrums?
Well, I haven't watched it in years, all the way through, so it was...
We're very lucky
yes.
for us. Thank you.
Yes.
So, did the family enjoy it? Yeah. When you watch it in isolation in your own living room, you don't realize how funny it is. I mean, yeah, you laugh, but to have this joint laughter was pretty fabulous.
People ask me which part of the film is my favorite, and I have to say those sequences when they're trying to find the golden tickets, I had not seen those prior to seeing the film at the opening. And the opening had kind of a funny, we were in various spots. I saw it in Cleveland, Ohio, which is where I lived, which is where our premiere was. Julie saw it in London, who played Veruca, and she saw it with Gene Wilder. And then they had a New York premiere also. But it was kind of scattered and not very well organized at all. But the first time that I saw it and I saw those scenes, I thought the Dan Rather one, to me, still, that, you know, after everybody's found the golden tickets and there are many more important things in life, and offhand I can't think of what they are. I love that.
And so Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio. I worked
some children's plays.
Right, I worked at the Cleveland Playhouse and at the Children's Theater. And the reason, the casting agency, Marion Doherty from New York, called the Playhouse because of the Children's Theater and asked if they had anybody that they would recommend or that could possibly play Charlie, and my name was given to them. I was in 6th grade. I was 12 years old. It was end of school in May, early June, and they did not have a script at that point. The representative from the casting agency came out to our house, and I just read from the book. I read from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and they took several Polaroid pictures and said, "Don't call us, we'll call you if we're interested." She took that back to Mel Stewart and Stan, the producer, and David Wolper in New York. And sure enough, probably a month later, they called and said, "We'd like to do a screen test with you." And so I went to New York and did a screen test, and there were probably 2 or 3 other people at that point doing a screen test. And I had to sing. I guess that was at the original. Maybe I didn't sing it. I sung at the screen test. And all I can remember was, one, I don't know how to sing at all. And they said, "Don't worry, we're not going to use your voice." Well, and they ended up, they did. They just, my participation in the song, I kept getting smaller and smaller. But I think that was not by accident, because kind of at the time, Willy Wonka, we were kind of, Oliver had come out with Mark Lester, and I think Mel was really trying to, he didn't want Charlie to have a voice like an opera singer. And so I was that person.
He'd like to know if you really had to burp that much in the
Well, that's a great trivia question. Because of everything that you saw in the film, that is not Charlie, or that is not me burping. So somebody in California makes a great living off of burping.
Hi. Let me just say that your voice is deeper. But it's fun to see your face looking out from behind that magnificent mustache.
I had a woman come up to me, and she's looking at a picture of me and Jack together. She's looking back at me. She goes, "Now, who played the little boy?"
No.
So I'm looking a little bit like Jack now.
No.
Hello, I just wanted to ask you, how did it feel when you went into that room with all the black and whites and the craziness, and then you walked back out the door and something new?
The room, and that was tight, you know, so when Dodo says, "Somebody's touching me," everybody was touching everybody, because it was so tight. So that was each day was a little bit different surprise, you know. And so that was fairly early on. So that was when we all just started working together, and so that was a lot of fun, actually.
So, do you want to tell us any more about your career today and you've done interviews where you've said you're very happy about the choices you've made in life?
Sure. I had an opportunity after the film was made. Wolper presented me, and I guess Julie also, that I just found out, with a 3-picture deal, whatever that meant. And he didn't have any of the films, you know. I had no idea what I would be signing up for, so that made me a little leery. And at that point, I didn't know if I wanted to be an actor the rest of my life. And I enjoyed it. It was a great experience, but I just wanted to go back, be in 7th grade and play soccer. That's what I was interested in.
Right.
I just wondered what the Chocolate River room looked like to you as a kid. Like, was it really amazing? And what were some of the concoctions that you guys were eating? Were they candy? Were they sweets?
The room, the set itself was huge, and they just made the entire set in that studio. And everything that we ate was edible. But not everything in the room was edible. But everything we put in our mouth, other than the wax cup that Gene drank and then ate out of, was just wax. But everything else was edible, except the wallpaper.
40 years ago, I watched this movie and envied you like crazy. And I've gotten a chance to meet some of my childhood heroes along my way. And sometimes I've been pretty disappointed about how they turned out. Sitting here tonight and meeting you and seeing how down to earth and approachable and friendly you are. I admire you more than I ever did before. Thank you.
If the only thing that people remember me for is Willy Wonka, you know, to think that the one thing that you're remembered for is when you were 12 years old. That's, hopefully I've done something else, you know, beyond that with my career. I think I have, but that's an interesting take on you know, being remembered for this. On the other hand, it's one of those things that, you know, it's on my resume, okay? and there's only one, you know, it's kind of neat. There's only one Charlie Bucket, you know, and you know, I happen to, again, be in the right place at the right time. If you could only make one film, I made a good one, you know, so it,